9 years ago, the launch of the application was really caught me by surprise. I'm a very optimistic and ambitious person, just as much as basically very, very pragmatic at the same, trying to be pragmatic at the same time. I was hoping I could get hundreds of customers per month. I got two. and but nonetheless, I was completely surprised and shocked by the fact that for a product that I thought would be useful for hosts like me, that would have one property, maybe two, because there is one private room and one entire home. I never realized that property managers existed in the space. And so I was shocked when my very, very first property management company landed, sent me an email, and wanted to buy the product same day, because an existing product that they used was not satisfactory to be doing the job on the messaging automation side. So that was basically, oh my God, fantastic moment. Just as much as, but wait, I never took that genuinely into consideration about the product. I built the product without really looking into research or discovery or business model or any kind of those things, because it's better to be, frankly, in my view, to be shipping rather than basically spending your time discovering. Here I got the contact, and basically they got me, okay, we will need to rebuild the product with the mindset that it needs to be easier for users with larger portfolios. And that's which original application was not done for. So basically, a few years later in 2019, that basically became a reality. And I think that was really the first lesson. There are many of those, because I'm very proud of being the stupidest person in the room all the time. There were many others. The second and most structural important one is that at the beginning and for a long time, we really didn't want to become a property management software. And the reason for that is, I believe there was really a great case of being the expert at doing the one thing that you want to do better than everyone, such as messaging automation, and being part of everyone's stack. The game of a property management software is a lot broader, and it requires immense depth. So yeah, and everyone told me that no, you cannot become a PMS. It's stupid. You're gonna die anyway. The thing is just that it's not really up to us. The reality of it is that in most cases, it's basically a game that is played with a booking platform themselves. And we progressively had to move towards a property management software model. To be fair, it expanded to a level, the scope of our product itself organically expanded to a level where it started to be seen more favorably and was more strategic to be the one source of truth. But unlike many other alternatives that started with this view that we're going to be the source of truth, we're going to be the record of all the important reservation or property data that you have, we had to start it from the opposite direction. Basically, we had a product that had full features, but now we needed to become that source of record, while we had been rather tolerant or flexible on how the data is inputted, for example. So you can update things on the booking platform or on Hospitable. That was completely fine with us. The reality is that the paradigm in the industry has been really that no, you need to be a property management software.
And when you say source of record, you mean like everything is done through Hospitable. You don't go directly to the booking sites.
Yeah, so even that is even ambiguous.
Yeah.
I want to go full on pedantic here. The reality is that the source of truth really in this industry and in this space means that the booking platform checks the property management software. If the listing is available, what's the price of that listing? That's a completely different change of the infrastructure. Is that basically we build things so that we are sending data to the booking platform, and the booking platform just fundamentally has to check its own database, and then knows whether the plat is available, the unit is available, and at what price. It's the opposite. Basically, they are checking on us for every single reservation that we have. So to give you a bit of an idea of the challenge, that's several billions of dollars of customer payouts that de facto needs to be authorized at one point by Hospitable. Depending on the time of the day, a minute of outage can cost our customers something around between $3,000 and $50,000 per minute. And so we are paying extremely close attention to this, and there are very good benchmarks that we operate on. So I think we're really being great on that. But just there is a certain sense of responsibility about what it means.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot be down on those critical path of the product. So that's the actual change in the nature that's happening when you become a property management software.
Wow. Yeah, I thought there was a lot of stress in just managing a few properties, but you talk about stress across billions of dollars worth of
Try several
transactions.
hundreds of
Yeah,
thousands.
yeah. Wow. So I'm curious then, as things evolved and you became a property management software, which I totally see your point, because we personally, we looked at lots of property management softwares as we were kind of exploring this, and it's everybody wants absolutely everything to be perfect on in every aspect of the property management software. So the scope, like you said, is massive when you start to develop a product like that. But what, I guess, for you in Hospitable, who would you describe as like your ideal user today, and what are the major benefits that they see specifically?
Yeah, it's funny because there are always those conversations. I think historically it has been true that we were really focusing towards those self-managers that have, let's say, up to 7 properties. I've been guilty of saying that myself for several years. So there are probably quotes in the wild of me saying Hospitable is the best fit for less than 7 for self-managers with less than 7 properties. That's not true anymore. We really, you can have owner statements. We have owner payouts. We are going to be launching a property manager marketplace to help property managers scale. We have multiple customers that have hundreds of properties that are running on Hospitable. It just, what I believe is that it's a nice, what Hospitable is really known for and really special, I believe, in this space. It's a great place to get started. That's what I want. That's what I mean by that. It's basically, if you never used a property management software before, I recommend you give it a try. Because it is self-service, it has a free trial, and honestly, you already have, out of those 2 filters, eliminated 90% of the markets. Everyone else wants you to have a call for qualification, a meeting with an account executive, then you're going to have an onboarding after signing the contract. You've not seen a pixel of the product, but you're already being in a push towards sales funnel. You have the implementation team, etc. Everything is self-service with us. It's very opinionated in this way. So that's what I mean, is basically people that have never used the property management software before, this might be quite a bit of a jump. But this is basically the best product that I believe exists in the space to basically go from that transition, which means going from dependent on the booking platform tools to creating your own workflows and thinking of yourself more like a business owner rather than a marketer on another booking platform. And from there, move you towards a multi-channel strategy where that doesn't go, where you don't have to go crazy because you have multiple inboxes, multiple calendars, prices, strategies, content, which we cannot do. So that's really important to Hospitable. But there is also the reality of it, which is that 1 in 8 customers become at some point service providers. That may be helping out a friend that has a property and they want to have to help some with some messaging. That can be a full-blown hosting property management service, and that happens organically. So the idea is, what can we need to be able to work with them no matter what, because it will be so annoying, so disheartening for everybody that basically we put all of that work and effort, and now somehow, because your business model is changing, everything needs to change. No, we are supporting property managers to be scaling their business. So that means, for example, pay your team. That means cleaners. That means everyone that basically is contributing. All of this transit now through Hospitable. That can be paying out your owners under which model you have, and that can be also helping you acquire more owners altogether. And we're ideally positioned for this because we have owners, we have property managers on each side, so we can help have one side talk to the other.
Yeah, and I think I have conversations weekly with people who are in the shoes of somebody you just described, that they've never used a property management software before. They have a few properties and they're very hesitant because they've heard about kind of like the struggle of getting it all set up. And so, what are the big benefits that you would expect somebody to see? Who's just going to go from having two or three that they've managed directly on the platforms like Airbnb to now they have the Hospitable in place. What is there certain like should they see like quality increase on their properties, or what's the biggest thing?
Yeah, there will be so many. I think first is going to be, I'm going to preach my own choir, but I think the part where you can have the most impact is basically just simply going to be on the messaging automation. Right now, the single channel host will be dependent on the messaging automation that is set by the booking platform. On Hospitable, just like on other property management software, you are going to be able to design and craft the experience that you would like to your guests to be having at the time, the place, before the reservation, after the checkout, and that's going to be particularly key. You can retrieve the data points for your guest, and you are able to have a more organic and natural relationship with them that doesn't have to be necessarily involving all the steps towards the booking platform infrastructure. A second bucket is gain some sovereignty. Go direct. It actually is the number one channel in the United States. It has been the case for literal decades, when it's data literally coming from payment processing. So that's actually coming directly from Visa and MasterCard. You can launch your direct booking website. What you said about property management software is exactly the same for direct booking website, because my goodness, do you think I have a budget for a direct booking website? I don't even have a first reservation. And that's where the people minds go. But then, sure, what about your payment processing and your chargeback risk? Whenever you have a reservation from a guest that gets canceled, do you know that you are still liable for the payment processing cost? What about the tax compliance? What about the insurance and damage protection? What about the vetting from your guests? Because now you're allowing everyone on the internet to be booking your property. It's not just great that the card works, because that may be stolen. Meanwhile, they get access to your property, and that may not just quite work. So we're really happy about our own approach, which is merchant of record, which means that we bundled everything that you need to rebuild the booking platform experience just under your own terms. There is no person that's ever going to be overriding your terms with your guests, but we facilitate without interfering, but we take all the costs and all the risk. So, for example, with chargebacks, with payment processing costs, underwriting, we do the guest verification, we do the protection insurance in case your guests are causing some damage on your property, and we do the tax compliance, which means we are de facto becoming a very significant booking platform just on behalf of users directly. So I think those are kind of the two things that are relevant for everybody on the advantage you can get out of using a PMS. First, messaging automation, then second, direct. But obviously, starting there is the obvious of distribution. If you are dependent on the income from a single channel, you know that when you open Facebook on social media and you have that account being taken down, listings being suspended, you basically are putting all your eggs in one basket, and that basket might not be the most reliable one at assessing quality or opportunity. So you should be diversifying towards multiple platforms. It's the case for every business. This is a marketing channel. They know they're a marketing channel. Okay, they're not pretending anything else. But for a business like ours, we would do add on every booking, every platform that we can do ads, and we assess which one works, and we discuss, we think about what's the best language we can use for each of those marketing platforms, for all those ad platforms. That should be the same for every host for a short-term rental property. So that basically is what happens. And our job here is really to make that seamless, to make sure you don't have to re-input all the details, and the listing is looking great on your other booking platform. And I think that's really to the advantage of host, especially in the United States. I think there is the World Cup that's coming very soon, and bookings that are occurring. There might be some travel from the United States, but there is also some international travel. And
Mm-hmm.
the booking platform where you are right now might not be the one that is actually used by your guest. And so there is really a strong competitiveness across those markets now in the US, and that's coming really fast.
Yeah, that is so true about the direct bookings too. Like, owning your your customers, and the communication between them. In the beginning, I think about how we just cobbled together different systems to try to get some direct bookings, and it just has grown more and more the longer we've used the PMS software. Is that we can now market directly to those people to come back and book directly with us, and so now, like, if there's a big change, which there always seems to be with tech, we're not held hostage by the Airbnbs and Verbos and direct booking, or the booking platforms like that. Um, I'm curious. So sometimes, being small and agile has its benefits, but the disadvantage to the larger short-term rental operators is that, a lot of times they just have a bigger budget to invest in the property management. So I know you guys are working, or you're rolling out a new tier of your offering. Can you share a little bit about this and how this might help some of the smaller, more agile investors?
Yeah. Well, this is self-managers. I don't like
Yeah.
when we call them about small or big or large. I'm 6'1", and what that makes me is that make me a small operator? Come on. No, I like the framing of it. Is that, yeah, there may be a perception that it's only for the big guys to be investing into software. And frankly, when you look at the prices that are being shown on websites, or basically are communicating more or less privately, that's probably a good reason why there would be some anxiety around that.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think we live in times of compounding, very rapid change, and that will probably crumble in the next few months. Um, the reality is that every property management software is always integrated with the same APIs, and the connectivity to booking platforms is de facto a commodity. So we wanted to be the one having the first strike in this.
Mm.
So we're going to be releasing a new plan, which is called Essentials. That is the first, we believe, industry first plan that offers full challenge management capabilities. So you can connect with all your booking platforms, Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, with uncapped number of properties. So you can be an operator with one property just as much as you could have 300 at no fee, no recurring fee. So basically there might be cost and fees, but basically none of that is basically mandatory. So you can have connectivity with your booking platform and booking platforms with the challenge management without having to feel like you're going to pay $70 per property. The price will be exactly $0. There are so many reasons where we're doing that. It's not in reaction to anything recent. The reality of it is that I had this wild rogue ideas for 6 to 8 years, really, since the very beginning of Hospitable, and we're now basically at a point where it's actually possible and even desirable for I believe for the industry. Um, I think we touched on that a little bit earlier, but basically the benefits that you can have out of PMS. One of this is simply just the opportunity to generate more revenue.
Mm.
And yeah, I was talking about messaging automation and direct as well, big ticket items. The reality is that every day that can be a lot more modest, but that can be something like a way to collect funds for an early check-in, a late checkout that is going to be automated and is going to be direct to the guest. And we found a way to basically align the incentives there. It's simply we are gonna be making money on that Essentials plan. It's not a gimmick for marketing for just some time. It's actually something we believe is going to be sustainable, where we're simply going to be able to make sure that we are going to be returning you money. That it's not free. It's less than free. We're
Mm.
actually going to be able to help you generate more revenue, and just basically ensure you generate more ancillary income out of your property on top of what you're generating from your booking platform, and progressively build a strategy where you can emancipate and become more sovereign as a host.